There are so many reasons to introduce Dungeons and Dragons to kids. It's a great way to learn problem solving skills and social skills, and a lot of other great benefits. But for me, it's just fun. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is one of my favorite hobbies. My kids are my favorite people, so it's natural that I would want to combine the two. However, if you've ever tried introducing your kids to D&D, you may have seen their eyes glaze over. But if you take a subtle approach, you may find they're just as excited to play as you are. Now, I've got a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old who both play in a weekly family campaign and a bi-weekly campaign with some of their friends. And I'd like to share with you what worked for us. So the first thing you want to do is introduce Dungeons and Dragons to your kid in a way that relates to something that they already enjoy. One of the great things about D&D is that it's not simply one thing. There are so many different ways to engage with the hobby. For an example, my kids love drawing and creating things. So when they got their hands on the monster manual, they were very excited well, for the artwork, first of all, but to learn about how monsters work. They wanted to design and draw their own monsters. I gave them dry erase battle maps, and they could design their own dungeons. And it wasn't really about running through their dungeons in a scenario or running their monsters either. It was just about introducing the ideas. They got them interested in the world of D&D. Now, perhaps your kid enjoys reading. Well, there are a ton of books meant to introduce kids to the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Also, perhaps your kid wants something more tactile. They want to hold something and play with it. Well, I'm sure if you've been playing for 5 minutes, you've got extra dice. Give your kids some dice. Miniatures, terrain, whatever it is, you find the one element that's in D&D that relates to something that your kid really enjoys, and just introduce them to that element. And that's really what will help open up the world of D&D for the next step. The second thing you want to do is focus on the storytelling aspect of D&D. Kids are naturally gifted storytellers, and in fact, they're great at cooperative storytelling. Anytime they're playing with their friends, whether it's having a sword fight or a tea party, they're engaged in cooperative storytelling. The difference here, however, is that we are going to introduce a game element to the storytelling. So we'll present them a scenario in which they have to overcome some obstacle, right? But it's really important that we allow them total freedom in solving that problem, in overcoming that obstacle. So perhaps you present a scenario where they need to cross a large lava flow, and you've made sure to include items within the scene that, if engaged with properly, will allow them to cross safely. And your kid's brilliant, and you know that they can do it. But instead they say something like, I sprout wings and fly across. Well, that can certainly feel unsatisfying to us. But it's important that we just get excited with them about the process of overcoming these challenges and lean into it. Have them describe what it feels like to grow wings. What do the wings look like? What does it feel like to fly? Right? So just be excited about that. But as they fly triumphantly over the lava, you present another challenge, right? So here maybe they see a fire-breathing dragon, right? And it's this problem solution, new problem aspect that's really the core of D&D. The third and final thing you'll want to do is to slowly start introducing the rules and mechanics. Begin explaining the difference between classes, how a wizard and a barbarian have very different skills, how they have different approaches to problem solving. Introduce the D20. You have them roll to see how well they fly across the lava. Maybe they roll a 20, and as they fly into the sky for the first time, they are graceful and confident, and that can impact how they approach the oncoming dragon. And a lot of kids are going to absolutely love this part of storytelling, because while they are great at cooperative storytelling, they've got a lot of experience with this. They've not experienced the randomness of a dice roll. And this is really where my kids started showing interest in the game. And I hope that's the same for you. I hope that you spend many, many hours playing Dungeons and Dragons with your kids. And I would love to hear if you already play with your kids. Maybe you've used a similar approach, or maybe something completely different. I'd love to hear about that as well. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.